Let's see. I think we're all here. Okay, everybody. So, this is the Pixel Sprites and Nonsense podcast, episode 16. We're off to a great start with this intro. So with me here today are the Metsman
Hello.
and Mr. Vosh.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
So today we're going to talk about a few different things. We're going to talk about Redfall, which just launched to less than favorable reviews and some less than favorable issues. We're going to probably talk about either Zelda or Mario in some way or another. We're going to talk about Microsoft and the way things are going. And well, I think that's about it. So first, we're going to start our intro and we'll be right back. And we're back. All the audio stuff is up and running. I think everybody is audible and we're good to go. So let's start with Metsman this week. So Metsman, how has your week been?
My week has been tired. I've been tired a lot this week, but I actually managed to play some stuff as well.
Good.
So let's see. What was it last? When was it? King's Day.
That was first day a week ago, right?
Yeah, it's a week ago, right? So King's Day. Spent the whole day streaming actually, and I played some CS:GO, which I played a lot of, but a long time ago. So since Counter-Strike 2 is coming up, I decided to get warmed up basically.
So you're not one of the lucky few who got into the early beta?
No, you have to be like really active on the servers. Basically, be a CS:GO gamer, but like someone who plays it a lot.
Yeah, it needs to be like your main game.
Yeah, basically. So, but instead of playing the normal rounds, what I did play actually was the deathmatch mode. Just because I felt I needed more combat experience. Because, I just wanted to get familiar with the guns and the flow and the recoil and all that. And deathmatch is just a really fun and easy way to get into that.
This is free for all, or is this team deathmatch?
Yeah, it's free for all. It's a sort of a gun game. Basically, every time you die, you get just a random weapon.
Okay.
And then I think if you score points by killing, you also get you earn a special weapon, which is then another random weapon that you could use.
Yeah.
Basically, you can call it up. You can summon it, sort of. But yeah, it's just a little bit it's a little bit Call of Duty style deathmatch, basically, on the CS:GO maps. And you also just realize how good people are in this game, how fast they are with aiming. It's of course, there's so many diehards that play this game. They also use, of course, deathmatch as a warm-up and then go into the ranked modes. So yeah, that's one game I played.
Cool.
And then the other one is Quake Champions. Quake Champions. Let me see. Quake Champions is. I love Quake Champions. I was always kind of fan of the original Quake deathmatch and multiplayer stuff, and I was one of the early players. So I played in the betas and everything for Quake Champions. I know a lot of the diehards don't really like Champions. Mostly because they added abilities, basically. Each character has their own unique ability that you can use, and the diehard community is always more favorable for the old school style, where the only difference is the weapons you wield.
Yeah,
in the game.
it's your gun and the shield pickups you got along the way.
Exactly, and that there's no difference otherwise between the players. That it's pure about the aim. But I think it makes the game. I think personally, it adds an extra layer to the game. It's like if you see a character and you know what their abilities are, that's another thing to get to think about when you fight them. And I think this, of course, when people play this in tournaments, it's always 1v1, right? It's a 1v1 usually. And what I do here is, of course, it's just chaotic deathmatch and team deathmatch and stuff like that. But it's still a game it's really like an art to play this game. Like you have to learn how to bunny hop and what's it called? Side strafing. There's a name for it. But it's a way of traversing through the levels. Mm-hmm. It's like you're like jumping and you're using your keys to like accelerate yourself. It's like a very specific type of movement, and that way that's why everybody moves so fast through the game. You always see people jumping around, and the game doesn't have a very large community at the moment, which is kind of sad because I think it's still really fun. They've been optimizing the game a lot actually and adding new maps and
I thought they ended support for it, but they didn't. I guess.
No, they actually still keep supporting the game. I was surprised by that. Like not too long ago, they added a whole new map, and I was like, "Wait, they're still doing that?" Because I thought the game was kind of like on its end, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was just the server still being live, but they didn't realize it was actually still supported by the developers.
Yeah, they still add little trinkets as well, I think, that you can earn, and I think each year with QuakeCon, or they have like a special skin day release that you can get, stuff like that. But yeah, it's I wouldn't call it a dead game, but it's such a niche, and there's such a diehard public, what do you call it, diehard community for it, that it's shrunk a lot. And
not just that, but when you're probably coming in as a new player, you're gonna die a lot because everybody has a high skill level, and you're gonna have to penetrate that if you want to play this game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, this game makes me queasy. Like all the jumping and stuff, it really gives. I don't know. It makes me feel sick.
The thing is, usually that happens if you're watching someone else play.
Yeah.
So same thing when I'm watching Twitch streams. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I was streaming it like here, but I can understand that. I think they also stream tournaments. I don't know if they do anything different there with the spectator view to make it easier on the eyes.
I know they did with Overwatch. They had like a special third-person camera that could switch between players and also gave an overhead perspective.
Yeah.
To make it a little bit more. Understandable what's actually happening. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I still have fun playing it. I still jump in from time to time. There's just something very visceral about the game. And it's also a game that I personally am not that bad at. I usually end up in the top 4 or 5 or something, which is pretty good for my doing as an old dude. So yeah, it's okay. I'm 7th here, right? But yeah, I don't know. It's fun. Another great mode is the Insta-Gib mode, where everybody has a real gun, and as soon as you get a hit, like even like a little bit, you're dead. Like it's a one shot. So it's like this frantic, like how many kills can you get before you get hit, basically. And if you get like a big string of kills, like one after another, it's a great feeling. But yeah, I played that, cool. And after that, I spent my Sunday playing Mario Galaxy again, and I managed to finish the main campaign for it. The first time I did it, which is
nice.
Yeah, I was. It's
cool.
Another check mark on my backlog, I guess. There's still some purple things I have to do. The purple comment is like the last thing you get after you finish the main thing. You get the purple comment, and that means like extra stars to collect, 15 extra stars, or actually the remaining 15 stars. But yeah, those are really hard. The first one that you can do is like the very first level of the game. The only thing you have to do is basically collect all the purple coins. There's 100 of them in the level, and if you collect them all, then you get your star. The problem is that the further you get into that, like for the further the new where the comment moves, like the new challenges you get, the harder they get. The first one was like so simple. I thought like, wow, is that it? Is it just gonna be like a show of like a sort of like farewell to each level where they just collect all the coins and you're done? But they implement all their mechanics in there. So there's one where I stopped playing because it's one of those things where you have to grab those stars in the space where you drag yourself, and it's like one big field, and you have like a minute to get them all. And there's also like obstacles where if you hit them once, you fall to your death, and you have to try to like use your momentum to get all the purple coins. And I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm never gonna do this. This is not fun for me. No. So I stopped doing that. But the final boss of the original campaign is basically a final exam of everything that the game offers. It's a bit of a level with like all the traversal tricks you have to do to get through, and then you get, of course, Bowser as a end boss. Let's see, where is he? He's somewhere around here. Oh, here. That was a really good fight. I liked the end boss with Bowser. It was it incorporates a lot of the mechanics that you have learned over the course of the game, and of course you get a fun cutscene and a little sneak peek at what comes next, which is of course Mario Galaxy 2, which I also have. I have the box right here, and I'm gonna be playing that next. I guess it's gonna be my lazy Sunday game for the next few weeks probably.
Nice.
So yeah, I finished that, and besides that, during the work week, after work chill mode, when I listen to podcasts or watch streams, I play more Blood. I play more build engine FPS games. So I spend some time on Blood again, which is getting really hard. Oh, this audio is loud. It's actually surprised me how unbelievably hard Blood is. That's one of the things that I keep getting from these games. It's there's like these gargoyle types enemies, and you have like the normal ones that are brown colored, that are just like fleshy, like gargoyle enemies that are, they take a lot of hits, but you can defeat them. It's like if you just pump them full, or you have a special like a heavy weapon, you can get them pretty easily. But then there's these white colored, or what do you call it? It's like steel colored ones that shoot these blue laser balls out from their eyes. Which basically, if he hits you 3 times or something, you're dead. And you get sometimes you just get 2 or 3 of these in one room. So you're basically spending all your ammo of every weapon you have to try and take them down, and it's really hard.
You can't just chuck a couple of dynamite pieces in there.
Yeah, a lot of dynamite. The problem is that they move really fast and erratic. So it's not like you can just throw it at them and it'll explode in their face. They'll just like zip around the level, especially if they're like in big spaces. It's a little bit of weird AI pattern, basically, but yeah. So that's basically it. I'm still going through that. I'm on I think episode 4 out of 5.
You're getting there.
Yeah, getting there. So that'll be I'll probably finish it in a bit. Nice. But it's fun. I like just running around through the levels. Usually, the first thing you do is try to kill all the enemies, and then afterwards try to find some secrets. Just to refill all your items and ammo, because you go through those like really fast.
Typical build engine shenanigans.
Yeah. Yes.
Good stuff. Yeah. So next week you're going to show us the ending, right? To episode 5.
Yeah, I was just skimming through. So
no, to episode 5, because that's next on your list, right? Your list was 4?
Yeah, exactly. I will probably be at 5 next time. Yeah.
Good
and
stuff.
I think that's it for me this week. So
right.
Okay, so Flush, what did you play? I know we played a lot of games together, so we'll be covering those together. But what did you play without me?
Well, I played Borderlands 3. I actually finished the main story, so yay.
That's
did
good.
that today,
Congrats,
so it's
buddy.
pretty fresh. And I really like it. There's a lot of stuff that unlocks after you finish the game, so that's going to be fun. There's some seasonal stuff they added. There's you can already do some seasonal stuff during the game, main game.
Yep.
But there's also mayhem levels now, and so things get more trickier, and also more over the top. So that's great. I have a gun now that just kills almost everyone instantly, so that's a lot of fun.
That's nice.
Yeah, and what I like is that well, I can play a lot of stuff again with the different characters. So I might, try all the other characters out. Also got all the season pass stuff because I bought the Ultimate Edition
Yeah,
a while
bunch
back.
of DLC to finish.
Yeah, I mean, I already had the main game, I think, through a Humble Bundle, and I just had to add all the extra stuff because it was on sale. But yeah, that's a lot of fun. I mostly played that, but I also played a bit of The World Ends With You, which final remix for the Switch, which is a lot of fun. I missed out on the DS version back then. I wanted to get it, but I don't know. I never got around to it.
So how did you find the controls? Because that's the thing I've heard about this game is that it controls kind of crappy on Switch.
Not really crappy. Just takes some getting used to. Because you mainly use either the Switch touchpad or touchscreen.
Yeah.
Or you can, when you're playing TV, you use the
Joy-Cons.
The Joy-Con. Sorry, I couldn't remember.
That's fine.
Remote,
but I've heard like the Joy-Con, the Joy-Con setting or setup was actually pretty bad, and
yeah,
people
it's not
kind
great.
of expect you to play it handheld,
Yeah.
so you could use the touchscreen and utilize that.
Yeah, because on the DS that was the main feature. You really had to use. The only problem I have is I can't use a stylus, and you have to use your fingers in this case. That's kind of annoying.
Did you
But it
try
works.
using a stylus? Because
Yeah, I
you
did.
can't- Okay, because I have a stylus for from Brain Age, and I think that should just work. But I guess
Yeah,
not.
I have that one as. I think no, I have a Pac-Man one, and I have just a 3DS one, but I
Yeah,
couldn't
I have one that
get either
came
of
with
them.
the Switch game for Big Brain Academy. or
Oh,
Brain
okay, and that
Training
one
or
works.
something like that.
So I might want.
That one works as a
Okay.
stylus. So
Oh, okay. I might need to pick that one up. I did. I mean, I have a screen protector on it, so maybe I don't know if I'm not
maybe
sure
that's
if
the
that's
shit.
it.
I don't
But
know.
I'm not sure because I couldn't get the stylus. Maybe that stylus for the 3DS isn't working right. But it's a fun game so far. I really like the story, and I haven't finished the first week because there's a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah.
It's been a while since since I read about the story and stuff. So, but I really enjoyed it so far. It's also pretty dark. And yeah, I really want to finish this because I also want to start with Neo, The World Ends With You, which is more traditional console game.
Yeah, they kind of stepped away from the gimmicky
touchscreen.
touch
Yeah.
and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean for the DS it made sense at the time. So, but yeah, it works
Good stuff.
for now. So yeah,
Okay.
it's a fun game. Mm-hmm.
So that's it.
yeah.
I guess we're going to talk about a few games we played. So
Mhm.
first, I'm going to talk about the games that I played by myself.
Mhm.
One of them being Cassette Beasts, which
Yep.
is basically a Pokemon clone, but more grown up and more akin to a more adult audience. So what this basically is you record the creatures using a tape recorder, and then you can use their abilities, and you actually turn into the monster. So what that does for you is you don't have to train every monster individually, but actually you just level up your own character. So
Wow.
that saves you a bunch of time. So you can upgrade your characters slightly. As you see here on screen, the characters are currently changing into their respective monsters. So
Right.
you can level your characters slightly, but you level them in star ratings, so they go from 1 star up to 5, and that enables new abilities. You also get a bunch of different new abilities. For example, you're not just stuck with 4, which actually have 8 abilities available to you.
Oh, that's great.
And they're basically stickers that you put on your tape. So what you can do, you can just peel them off, and you can apply them to a different tape. So you can change your moveset around completely. If you want to, you can just strip one of the monsters of their moves, and you can just apply them to others. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Also, the way that elements work, we all know how Pokemon works. Fire trumps grass, grass trumps water, water trumps fire, and obviously there are more variants than that. But in this one, it kind of handles that in an interesting way because one of the monster types is actually plastic. So what happens if you... Yeah, it's plastic. I'm not even kidding. So what happens when you set plastic on fire, it becomes toxic because of the fumes. So the monster that started out as plastic actually becomes a toxic monster. With poison attacks, and it can actually poison you. But because it's toxic, if you set it on fire again, it's actually super effective because you're getting rid of the fumes. So that's the way that kind of works. Also, so if you use a water attack on fire, for instance, it not just hurts your character more, but it also lowers your attack power because your fire is dampened. So it's less effective. So there are more of these kind of interesting things about the game. Then there are so the art style is kind of cool too. It's basically kind of 2D on a 3D plane. So if you go into a specific nuke, the camera will actually turn, and you will be able to see it. Very reminiscent of things like Paper Mario did back in the day. So you can actually see a nuke back there. And if you go into that nuke, the camera will turn, and you will see that there's an item over there. So nice. It's like semi 3D.
Right.
So you get additional party members that you will also level that have their own set of abilities. The game is basically completely open world. So what that means is that you can go anywhere where you want. And certain monsters, if you get certain monsters, you'll get abilities that you can use in the overworld. So, for instance, if you get that bat that's currently on screen called Spring Heal, actually gives you wings that you can use to glide. So you can glide from to different elevated areas, which will open up more of the world. So it's kind of open world, and you can kind of figure out what to do yourself. Very Metroidvania-esque. Very fun game, not that expensive, available on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, check it out. It's a lot of fun. If you ever enjoyed a Pokemon game, this will definitely get your enjoyment, and probably more so, because it's just different. There are also some horror elements to it. Like at some point, I'm not sure if I have that recorded because I turned my recording off. Yeah. So at some point, you come across what they call an Archangel. And as you can see, that the screen is starting to kind of glitch, and it's like half a weird character, and and that character will embody your character and will try to help you escape this world because you basically stranded. You woke up on a beach. You don't know how you got there. You just all you know is that the villagers who live there, they've been, people have been coming there for over 100 years, and nobody has been able to leave. So this weird-looking broken mannequin creature said that it knows a way out, so it's gonna help you after you defeat it. But it's kind of eerie. The music kind of starts to skip. The everything starts to get distorted, so it becomes a little bit more of a horror theme. So I'm wondering how that plays out further along in the story. I'm not gonna spoil that much. This is just like literally the first hour, so I'm okay with spoiling that. But it's a lot of fun. Definitely a fun game to check out. So I got it on Steam, but check it out on Game Pass if you have it.
Yeah, I like the old school VHS effects.
Yeah,
that's an aesthetic I always liked. So
what you have to do, you have to record the enemy and then have your party member actually hurt him, so that your the chance of recording actually goes up. You see a percentage above their head, and it's like 30. And if you hurt them more, it becomes higher. And at some point, you actually just copy them, and then you can just kill the monster because you're not actually catching the monster. You're just recording him onto a tape, so it's literally a copy.
Yeah.
There's some kind of weird bootleg stuff in there. There's also fusion. You can fuse with your party member, which is weird. I didn't record that part, but you can. At some point, you actually fuse with your party member.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
that creates all sorts of different combinations from what I know.
It's gonna be and that also means that your creatures start to combine. So if you have like a poison creature and a fire creature, they become something together. It's like super weird. Very fun. Another game I'm playing that I'm kind of on the fence about, I'm not really sure I like. I like the story, I like the way it looks. I just hate the combat. It's Gotham Knights. So I've been playing this game for I think about I'm like 9 hours in, but the combat just takes forever. Literally, the fight you're seeing now, I think it's like a 10-minute fight. The enemies just kept piling on, and it never stopped.
Oh,
They also throw a lot of weird stuff in there, that, like these drones. So you have to use your batarangs, just wither them down.
Okay.
The gameplay is not fluid at all. It's a shame. It could have been a good game, but I feel like if they left the old combat system in and didn't do this weird new thing they did, but I'm not really sure I like it.
It has some hallmarks of a GOS game, so I think that's what they started with.
Yeah, but it's not a GOS game. It's
I know.
co-op game, and yes,
I know.
it has a lot of loot, and it kind of tries to do that.
But the
I don't know.
combat just got hurt by it, I think.
I think that not just the combat, like everything. Basically, every character is interchangeable. There are two that I feel are extremely underpowered. That's Robin and that's the Red Hood. They're kind of underpowered.
Which is a shame because Red Hood is basically a powerhouse in everything. But
yeah, but he's very gun heavy, and guns are just not very effective.
That's true. I mean, he can't kill people, so he uses.
Yeah, but his
guns,
defense is really bad, and this game doesn't really telegraph the enemy attacks as well as the old game did. Because the old game, you had like these. I don't know. It kind of looked like spider sense above Batman that you could react to. This game doesn't, because the indicator that the enemy will attack is on the enemy itself, and enemies attack when they're off screen, so you don't see them coming. And then they'll just punch you in the back, and usually that ends your streak, and you're going to get like hit 3 or 4 times. Yeah. It's perfectly fine when you're playing Nightwing. It's killing you if you're playing either Robin or the Red Hood, because they will instantly die. Robin is very stealthy, so his combat is bad. His attack power is bad, but he's really good at doing stealth kills, and he's harder to get detected. So there are definitely some good things about this game, and I know that the game had problems with performance and all that earlier on. I'm running it on 4K 60, and sometimes it has a tendency to drop slightly, but it doesn't drop below 50, so it's not even that noticeable.
Yeah,
but still, it's the game itself it's kind of fun, just literally having a 10-minute fight, which is not very enjoyable. It's kind of bad. I do like these parts where you're actually just stealthing them, and that's kind of cool. So I'm gonna give it another go. I'm gonna see if I grow to like it, but so far I'm kind of on the fence. I might drop it.
9 hours in, huh?
9 hours in, and I'm on the fence. Yeah.
So it's better than some games, some games are like, oh, the game starts after 13 hours.
I remember, what was it called again? Xenoblade Chronicles 2. People are saying, like, that game is going to be good, and it's going to be good in about 20 hours.
Yep.
So I never made it past hour 14. After hour 14, I'm just done. I don't want to play it anymore. I gave up on that game.
Yeah. At that point, it's just like a waste of your time. It's just like, come on. I'm not going to spend 12 hours on a game to see if it's going to get good.
Yeah, no. The problem with this game, it's not bad. It's just kind of mediocre, and it's mediocre in comparison to the old Arkham games. That's kind of the problem here, because it kind of feels like it wants to be an Arkham game, but it's not. And maybe that's why I'm having I don't know. It's just a bigger reservation towards this game.
I think
because I can see that there's something good in there. I just I can't seem to grasp it.
Yeah.
a game I am having a lot of fun with, and not just me, Bosch as well, because we
Yep.
played this game, I think, 3 nights last week in a row.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
And I'm just going to show the Tiamat boss fight here because
Oh,
we
yeah.
didn't record any of this, any of our
No,
own
that was-
gameplay, so this is because
Yeah.
of somebody on YouTube.
That was the toughest one for us.
But yeah,
Well,
when I played this on my own, so I played it on my own, and usually when we play this together, I join Fosh's game and
hmm
playing his levels. But I tried to beat this boss for about 3 hours, and I couldn't get it done. This guy's gonna do it, but I couldn't get it done.
hmm
And it's the game is so much fun. You can basically play every role you want. You can swap them on the fly. Not during combat. When we're out of combat, you can kind of swap them. You have 2 available to you at an instant at any time, so you can just switch between a mage and a sword bearer, like
yeah,
that.
sword fighter, swordsman. They're
Lancer,
several-
but
yeah.
basically every job that's ever been in a Final Fantasy game is in here.
Yep. And when you max them out, you can get different another job. So
Yeah, so you start with basic jobs, and when you level them, at the end of the basic job, you'll unlock an advanced class. For example, at first you start with a regular mage, and then you unlock black mage, red mage, and white mage.
Yeah.
And after you unlock those, you actually unlock a sage, bishop,
yeah, and those are the higher tiers.
and then those are basically like the expert tiers. So the game is really versatile. Tiamat was really a hard boss to kill. The game is very tongue in cheek. I'm playing it in Japanese, but before this
Very
boss
over the top.
fight starts, Jack is actually whistling the Final Fantasy tune. And he's like, "When did you teach that song to the princess? What are you talking about? Everybody knows this song." So they're very tongue in cheek, very familiar, and kind of throwing those throwbacks in there.
Yeah.
That's
So
fun.
yeah, we talked about this game before, but we played like 3 nights in a row, and it's still a blast. Like I think I would have preferred playing this game to the one we actually played yesterday.
Yeah.
So yesterday we decided to play Redfall. So
Yeah.
we all know Fosh talks about it every freaking week. He has Game Pass. He plays a lot of
kinda
games on
looking
Game
forward
Pass.
to it. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
think
didn't
that's
have
kinda
Game
my game,
Pass,
but
so I decided to buy Game Pass, and we're going to play Redfall. And we did, and we even
So
tried
good.
streaming it.
Oh,
So
boy.
yeah, I'm gonna skip. This is basically just segueing right into Redfall as a whole, because I think this is a whole different conversation. So when we played Redfall yesterday, look at our beautiful intro. Okay, there we go. Look at me having issues with El Elgato. There we go. Okay, perfect.
I mean, this works.
Redfall causes issues.
This part works.
So yeah, the basic new hero screen, it kind of works. We're not sure if it actually works because we ran into an issue instantaneously. So when we started,
after.
it was when we started this game.
Yeah.
So at first we had a problem. I was trying to get Fosh here. He had problems installing it, and then the game wouldn't run. So we had to wait for a few minutes. And after we waited for a few minutes, we actually, so I was turning my camera on and off because I wasn't sure if I wanted to record the footage flat. At some point, Fosh is online, and we tried to invite him. And each and every time,
I
we
think
would
the
try to
first-
launch.
Yeah, first try didn't work.
No, and it just said failed to connect. Okay,
Yeah,
so day 1 or day 2, whatever. I think it was day 2. The
Yeah.
game came out on Tuesday. Issues, that's fine. But my game just continued saying launching. So I couldn't launch a new game. I actually had to exit the game and restart it. So this was our opening act. We haven't even played the game, and we were running into issues. Fair enough. We've seen error 36 on Diablo. We've seen all that kind of stuff. So we know that, this tends to happen. Games break.
Yeah.
Especially on day 1. Like next week, there's another Diablo thing,
Testing.
and it we'll probably have some server woes as well. So we had some problems with this. I had to restart the game a few times, and at some point it kind of worked. So what happened here is I got the actual logo, or the actual cutscene, intro. Bosch did. He just got into the game. He didn't get the cutscene.
Yeah, I instantly was on the first part of the
Yeah.
level. I got no cutscenes at all.
So I'm going to skip past the cutscene. We're telling a story here, but we need to
I mean,
abridge it
there's a
slightly.
comic style.
So I'm still
cutscene.
getting
This
a
is in-game
cutscene.
stuff.
Very bumping the Vampire Slayer. Spike is eating a human. There's my girlfriend Cordelia, and also eating a human. The sharing is caring, sharing is fun, all that cool stuff. And then we're moving on to the actual game. So we have this Lady Gaga looking person with halos on her head, and she tells you that you belong to them and whatever, you will never see the sun again.
Yep.
So here we are
in the game,
and as you can see, the game is already kind of jittery, and the frame rate is all over the place. But stuff is compiling in the background, so you kind of expect nowadays it's kind of weird, but you're kind of expecting games to kind of run crappy for the first 5 to 10 minutes because stuff is
catching up,
loading. Yeah,
it is etching out in the background, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I didn't bother reading any of this, so this is pretty fast. We're going through this, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point,
finding stuff, looting stuff.
I was just looking, and since she wasn't doing very well, so I was asking if she was okay. He was also very sleepy. I'm not really sure what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
So we got some first aid, and then we went downstairs, which was a lot of fun. Okay. And we looked at this. So they stopped water, like very Moses kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
But the characters in there...
The characters... Now it looks pretty good on this screen, but on my screen they were very pixelated.
I already thought this looked like crap.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't look good.
For me, it looked extremely pixelated, those characters.
Yeah, so what happened here is that Posh... didn't get a gun. So I got a gun from this, and he didn't get a gun.
Nope, there was nothing in the car.
And without a gun, you can't even punch.
Nope.
Oh, so, you have no way of attack.
No, you have no way of attack. And there's a button right there. It's lighting up yellow, and you have to attack it to get through. So I can get through.
Another thing to note is that my character that I chose, Remy, she has a droid with her. I could hear the droid. I didn't see it anywhere, and neither, and I can see it's not on his screen either.
So because he, at some point, he was like, I'm not sure what's going on. But when I'm talking, it sounds like a robot is walking. I'm not sure what's going on. It's kind of cool. And so that didn't happen. We were looking for a gun for him. He was like, where's my gun? I can't find my gun. And at some point, we did get up. So this is when the stream was just starting to kind of get wonky here. I have no idea why.
The stream. This was the game itself that was active.
No, the game was actually playing better than the stream was showing.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
The capture was just
the capture was screwing it up.
Okay, I thought it was the game at the time.
So we were being very sneaky here.
Yep.
And there's a problem with that.
At least you were.
I was, but it wouldn't have mattered. I'm not sure if I recorded that. I think I did in the second part because AI didn't work. So we got past that.
Oh yeah.
And we didn't even notice that AI didn't work. So this is when Fosh at some point crashed out of the game. So we restarted here after we went to the first cutscene.
Yeah.
And he just started in a trolley. He couldn't get out. Also, it crashed his game.
Apparently.
Yeah, and it also crashed his game. So at some point he just crashed out of it.
Yeah.
He couldn't do anything.
The most surprising part was that this part we hadn't unlocked this even yet.
So what's supposed to happen is when you get to the fire station, it's overrun by vampires, and you have to kill the vampires, and then the people will come out. But when we went into the fire station, it actually just spawned it the way it's supposed to be after you did that thing.
Yeah.
So
we never finished the first mission.
So we couldn't even finish the prologue mission to unlock the first part.
Yeah.
So what we had to do, I had to quit out because he was stuck. So this is kind of when we're figuring out that it's not supposed to be like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because
there's a vampire in the basement.
There's supposed to be a vampire in the basement.
Yeah.
That you have to kill to get rid of this. So we were walking about, and this is when we kind of So you did get the robot now, but it still didn't work.
Mm-hmm. I still couldn't fire anything.
Oh, but yeah, this is when the AI is completely
yeah.
broken. They don't do
Yeah.
anything.
The AI is broken. It's really broken.
So
Wow.
the AI didn't realize we were actually there,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually fired a few shots next to some of these guys.
I mean,
and it
I was
just
standing
didn't do
right next to
anything.
them, so
We were just looking around, like, did we miss something? What the hell's going on?
yeah.
And
This is when
we found this door,
yeah.
and this door is upstairs, and that's where the people are locked in. So that
Yeah.
audio cue was still going, and we're
Yeah.
like, okay, we're locked in the door, and
Yeah.
now we realize that the mission didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of went down here, and this is the vampire. So what happened, because the AI was completely broken, I'm just going to skip back until we go downstairs. Yeah, so we went downstairs here, and there's a shotgun there that has the stake, because you need to stake the vampires to kill them.
I got a gun.
So
Nice.
we actually picked that stuff up, and this is what happened. The vampire didn't do anything.
Did you see it just spawned in?
It just spawned in. It was supposed to eat the guy.
Yeah.
All right.
And he didn't do anything. So
nope.
And not just that, because he didn't do anything, we're like, okay, what's going to happen now? And he will despawn. He will despawn.
Yeah, he despawned. That was that.
We couldn't finish the mission.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was the first mission that we couldn't even finish.
There he is. He's gone now.
Yeah.
So he despawned. We couldn't get past this, and we were playing for about close to 30 minutes.
Yep.
We actually deleted our characters and started again.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were literally in a deadlock. We both exited the game, restarted the game. We were
played on our own.
Yeah, and we started playing on our own to see if that would fix it. And then we got here. We figured out what we actually had to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
we both finished the first mission, unlocked the fire station, and I decided to join Benjiro. And that's when things started to be screwed up again all over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I couldn't see anything. I spawned somewhere. I have no idea where. And we were both this isn't going to work well.
You can't see that on this screen. But at some point he...
I saw a lot of names, and I saw Benjiro's character name in the distance, and I saw everything on the UI that was needed, but there was no screen
This was
at all.
basically when Fudge wasn't there. So I went outside, and a helicopter kind of crashes.
Yeah.
And I could see Fudge right there. I could see his name, but he couldn't move. He couldn't do anything. And I got shot here and died because now the AI started working. There we go. Wow. And I died because it was on my own and I wasn't paying attention. Fudge was screaming like, "I can't help you. I'm so sorry, dude." And so I just went down.
Bad. At
some point, and I shot everybody around me. You don't get a second win, unfortunately. Like, for example, Borderlands. And I just died, and that's when I quit the game. Like, after this, I'm not playing this anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of bad.
Yeah, and that's not the end of it, because I tried to play it again today, and it just wasn't working well, even in single player. It wasn't. It was really buggy and slow, and it was bad. Yeah.
You know what's funny? Because what a lot of streamers did, like they had a sponsored stream for this game, right?
Yeah.
But what they did is that I think everyone was gonna play the first chapter or the opening chapter in like alone in single player.
Yep.
And then later they would do a collab for the and join co-op later in the game after the first mission or so.
Yeah.
So I kind of have a feeling that they were trying to hide that the opening mission doesn't work well in co-op. That there would be too many issues.
Yeah, I think they knew that. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you join later, that there would be less chances of things breaking.
But after what point? Because this was annoying.
Yeah, I think after the first. Yeah, one of the first. I think the opening mission where you set up your lair or your home base, basically. I think after that, I think. Where I think
we tried that, but even
Dance Gaming
well.
and Co Carnage and Sekiro were playing together.
Yeah, I saw someone else playing as well. I'm not really sure which one.
So that was fun. Like I was like, wait, why would they like start off at single player all like separately and then later join in a co-op game? So maybe
because they were told so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to see that you just played from the start in co-op and there were so many issues. Holy shit. I mean, it's crazy. This is not one of those games where you see a few like loud minorities on Twitter show clips.
Oh no.
This is like every single like I've seen every single popular like YouTuber and
Everyone
has post like a specific issue with bosses as well and there's so many clips of like
AI not
failing,
working well.
especially AI.
Yeah.
Like if there's like an enemy and you make sure that there's a car between you and him, the enemy can't get past the car. It would just do the attack. It would just do the attack animation against the car, and you're just standing behind the car like, okay, whatever. So I saw a clip about that. I saw bosses that you could just like run into, that they have these shields around them or something, but you could just run into them and you could just attack and stun like them to death.
Yeah.
All those kind of it's crazy how many issues that game has.
Yeah.
So
too.
Before I asked Fush and I decided to play this together, I was like, okay, Marco, we can play this together. And I was going to play this with Marco. And she's very apprehensive to playing shooters in general.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, I'm willing to do this for you, begrudgingly and happily. So, but I'm so happy she didn't, because after this experience, she probably never would have played another shooter with me. And now I still have a chance. So I'm happy that she missed out on this.
Big ass. She says big ass nope.
Yeah, she does. Yep. So I'm happy that that she skipped on this one. I know Fush uninstalled it today. I
might try it in the future when there's a lot of things maybe fixed, because I see some potential in the game, as I usually do with a lot of games, but no, I wanted to play some other stuff, and so I wanted to uninstall this one, because right now it's not playable at all.
I even wonder if everything is working like correctly, if everything would like not break all the time, if it was a fun game to begin with.
I think it will. It was supposed to be fun, but there's some elements in this that I think they stripped out because of backlash of a lot of other games having kind of I had a feeling there was a lot of GOS stuff, games as a service stuff involved with this title as well.
Yeah. I think I read a thing about it. I'm not sure if it's a rumor or like something like that's supposed to be a very different kind of game, and that they just transformed it into a co-op game.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's the big issue.
Yeah.
The big issue is that it's not supposed to be a game that works over network. That's probably why we got desynced and our mission didn't work. That's probably why the AI has a lot of issues, because AI needs to react to specific triggers. That's kind of how AI works. It's not really AI. It's just variant, that they basically throw a dice and they will react, either they will go left, they will go right, and that's kind of how they do that. And it's kind of based on what you're doing and what kind of information you're supplying the game.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that like half that code just doesn't come across to the AI, and it just stops reacting to you, or starts to react in a very erratic and illogical manner. Yeah, I do think that what Marco says here, it needs the cyberpunk treatment, and I think that they could fix this game to an extent, but they're probably not going to be able to fix everything. I think they can make it playable. The game also isn't stable. I tried to run it today.
It's not stable at all.
Usually I run it at 2K, so 1440p. The game goes from 170 frames to 30. And then back to 170, so it stutters like crazy at certain intervals. Not really sure what. I also checked the Digital Foundry stuff, and it takes like 20 seconds to load in certain assets on Xbox. I checked those same assets because one of them they were showing was the ground mural on the in the firehouse. So it has a logo down there,
Fire Station,
and it's very low res, and it takes
Yeah.
22 seconds to load in a good version on Xbox. It loaded in for me on 6 seconds. I tried it twice. So it's
think that's
faster.
also an
But
issue. Yeah. I think it's also an issue with Unreal Engine 4 in general.
Yeah.
Because I know that engine has kind of a lot of issues with a lot of games, even with Unreal Engine 3, of loading in textures, and because it's always very slow in that regard.
another issue I noticed is that you can't actually lock FPS. There's no way, which is weird because that's the entire issue that they have over on Xbox, that it's locked to 30.
Yeah.
But the only option you have, and I'm running it at full screen because usually, if you run it windowed, that's the problem. You can't change the frame rate. But I was running it full screen, and you only have the option to toggle VSync. So that would mean it would run at the same refresh rate your monitor can handle, right? So you won't get teary. My monitor is 144 hertz, but I can't lock it down on 60. I can't even lock it down on 30. I can't lock it on 120. I can't do anything. It's just literally either VSync on or off. That's it, which is kind of strange.
So it's missing
weird
features.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have just, if I could lock it to 60, it might have been a playable experience. Right now, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's actually just not.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's not even a good looking game either, right? Like what I've seen from it. Is that
it could be better? Yeah,
I've seen like people compare it to like last gen games, like Far Cry or what did they show? There was another open world-ish game where they showed the graphics comparison. It's just even from your gameplay that you showed, it's all very low poly and a little bit bland looking.
That's kind of the style of the world in the game, but I don't think that's a big issue. But it just looks worse because of all the other issues with the game as well. I think that's definitely a part of it.
Like texture swapping, it can take a very, very long time. The game has a very stylized look, so it's that's kind of what that is. But it's not an extremely ugly game. But yeah, I've definitely seen better, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Also, Twitch kind of artifacting in here, obviously. But
no, I mean there are elements in there that could have been better, like this water.
Yeah, or the car in general.
Water,
a lot of the models can kind of look low res.
And you can see like the water is also,
like I said,
the polygon edges.
Yeah. The bodies in the water.
There's something
were very
like
pixelated
the texture of the water. It just looks a little less gen to me. Just in my, if I look at it,
basic. It's like they didn't have enough time to finish this.
It's very safe.
There's stuff missing.
It's like it feels like it was built for like it wanted to have like a big pool of hardware to run it, but then it runs on 30 and on the Xbox, and it apparently has a lot of problems anyway. So
it's not great.
Oh, it's a shame.
Okay, so that's another one for Xbox that's actually not really up to snuff. Xbox has been going. Yeah, Xbox has been on a bit of a hiatus. This the last couple of years. They had a couple of good games in there. Hi-Fi Rush being one of them, but most of their games are either delayed or they're underwhelming. Halo Infinite definitely didn't do what it was supposed to. It was fun for what it was, but
that's such a shame too, because I had such a big hope for Infinite. Like it was going to be the comeback for 343, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But it just it was just and it's mostly, I feel like there's the most of the problems here is time pressure or something. With Halo Infinite as well, where it was just not content complete technically, where features were missing that were added later and or not even added at all, like things that people figured out had like code in for like the co-op split screen and stuff. All these things that were supposed to be in the game were just scrapped later. And Redfall feels kind of the same to me, only because it's such a complex open world co-op game with so many systems running at once. It probably just that just breaks it easier.
Yeah,
It
they
buckles
didn't
on
gel well
itself.
together. They weren't optimized with each other. I think that's a big part of the issue with this game is that the development of this game. I think there was a shift in development at some point, and there was
Yeah.
also COVID, and there's a lot of other stuff that might have contributed. It might not have contributed. I don't know.
I'm not really
We-
sure if COVID is still a valid excuse.
It still is because this game has been in development for a while. When it was announced, I think it was already
That
in
doesn't make it an excuse. If
Three-
something
three or
has
4
been
years.
developed for a while, it should definitely not come out in this state.
Oh no, definitely. But like I said, there was a shift in development. Some probably, or I mean, we're not sure yet. We might hear it in the future. I definitely expect that we're getting some postmortems, maybe an article from Jason Schreier or someone else that has been doing some research on this and talk with people.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Because people definitely want to know, and this is also a teaching moment for a lot of managers in this case, because time management is important, and once again it's shown that if management fails, things fall apart, and hard deadlines like this, because this is definitely because of a hard deadline. It was already postponed once. That this game definitely should have had more time.
I saw that, by the way, someone retweeted the post that they wanted to actually make sure that this game was going to be bug free and solid on release. So this.
Did they just gift the wrong master? Is this like a build from 2 years ago and they did an oopsie? Like,
that'd be something.
Whoops! I just sent the wrong folder.
Yeah. Yep.
And also,
I mean, it did happen in the past with some stuff like movies and that sort of stuff. But it's weird.
I also just feel that Redfall, though it's a first-party game, like a big title it wasn't really a very high-profile wanted game. I think
there was a lot of marketing for it, though.
Yeah, there was a lot of marketing for it, but I think if you ask the community, it just wasn't like the game everybody's been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it was like, at least for me, it was like everybody was so unsure, and when they showed gameplay on their presentations, Twitch chat was like, I don't know, this doesn't look very special or interesting to me. Like there was a lot of like, it wasn't like, oh shit, it's the next big thing from Microsoft. It wasn't the Starfield, for example. Yeah. It's something like, it's just a title by Arcane. They're trying something new, but nobody was sure if they were, should I be hyped for this or not?
Yeah. Another issue is that like Hyper Rush, I don't think this was. Don't think people should ever see it as like a big blockbuster title. It never would have been a big blockbuster title. It would just be a fun game.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very long either. From what I saw, that you can finish it quite fast. So with one character. So I think there was supposed to be more replayability in this game as well. But right now it's just not playable. So
it's not really playable.
Okay. Do you think they were planning like expansions or anything for it, or?
Most likely, they even said that there was going to be support for like 2 years.
Okay.
With new content and that sort of stuff. So that's
see.
what, that's kind of not what bothers me, because a lot of people are attacking the dev team right now. And I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
They're making some dumb jokes. They're ridiculing the devs, and it's sad to see. Even other developers are doing that.
I want to hear their story.
Yeah, same.
Like I was like keeping myself from making those jokes, because I know that these just, you have to imagine, like, you have to be in their feet, right? They're working years on this game. It's you put years of your life in something like this, and they're trying something new, right? It's a completely new thing for them. Yeah. So I want to hear their story. I hope they're going to explain it in some kind of, I don't know, documentary or whatever, interview or something. But we haven't heard anything from them, from the team itself, right? It's just people like Phil talking about it and stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of Phil, Damn it!
Speaking of Phil, yeah.
Come on,
Sorry.
we're moving on from Redfall. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the one thing is, I did see one of the devs talk about how they were other devs were making fun of them, and that was one tweet I saw, and I was like, yeah, that's
Don't make fun of the devs. Like, just don't make fun of the game. That's fine. Just don't make fun of the people. Don't call out the people. Don't harass the people.
Exactly.
You know, something went wrong here. It's probably time management. It's planning.
Yeah.
And Bethesda probably just wanted this game out of the door so it wouldn't interfere with their next big release.
Yeah, because Microsoft is very hands off.
So, but we're moving. Speaking of Microsoft, can I finally do my segue?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
here we go.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer had some things to say in a kind of funny podcast. We're actually just going to play it here. So you guys, if you have your audio off, turn your audio on so you will be able to hear it. And then we can actually discuss how Microsoft will be able to handle this. Phil is kind of down, guys. So it's a 2-minute snippet and we're just going to play it here.
Yeah.
And it should play.
We're not in the business of out consoling Sony.
Seriously, when I tested it before, it actually was better.
Nintendo.
Nice.
There isn't really a great solution or win for us. And I know that will...
No, now it just shows in a freaking tweet, but okay.
We're not in the business
Can you
of
click
out
the YouTube
consoling Sony or out consoling Nintendo.
I don't think there's a YouTube.
There isn't really a great
There is, but it's,
solution or win for us.
I mean,
and I
there's a
know
YouTube
that
video,
will
but I don't think there's a
upset
YouTube
a ton of people, but it's just the truth of the
okay. I can't really show the YouTube link because the YouTube link just brings us to the entire podcast and it's not this exact snippet. So we're just gonna have to do it like this. I'm sorry, guys. It's not
fine.
what I want, but it is what it is.
matter is that when you're third place in the console marketplace and the top two players are as strong as they are and have in certain cases very discrete focus on doing deals and other things that will that kind of make being Xbox hard for us as a team. That's on us, not on anybody else. Our vision is that everybody who's on console has to feel like they have a great experience and they're a first-class citizen. They've invested a ton in our platform. But we are not in a position, and I see it out there. I see commentary that if you just build great games, everything would turn around. It's just not true that if we go off and build great games, all of a sudden you're going to see console share shift in some dramatic way. We lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation, where everybody built their digital library of games. So when you go and you're building on Xbox, we want our Xbox community to feel awesome. But this idea that if we just focused more on great games on our console, that somehow we're going to win the console race, I think doesn't really lay into the reality of most people. Like 90% of the people every year who walk into a retailer to buy a console are already a member of one of the three ecosystems, and their digital library is there. This is the first generation where the big games that they're playing were games that were available last gen. When you think about Fortnite and Roblox and Minecraft, like the continuity from generation to generation is so strong. I see a lot of pundits out there that kind of want to go back to the time where we all had cartridges and discs and every new generation was a clean slate and you could switch the whole console share. That's just not the world that we are in today. There is no world where Starfield's an 11 out of 10 and people start selling their PS5s. That's not going to happen.
Okay. So let me know when you guys are done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm done. I was done. I think it was done before you guys even.
So there's no world where Starfield is an 11 out of 10 and people start selling their PS5s. Well, basically what he's saying is Xbox kind of lost. We're third fiddle here. It's not going to get any better for us. People are invested with their current ecosystem. I'm kind of disagreeing on certain parts, but I think that's an interesting discussion. I agree that people have, if they have digital games, they can play it. They probably will play it on the console they used before. For example, if you had a big digital library, you're going to stick with your PS4 for those. I don't think that the Switch should be considered on the same playing field. Very much like the CMA is. The Switch is a complementary console. The Switch goes with with everything. It's basically it's fine. If you have a PlayStation, a Switch, or a PC and a Switch, you basically have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
The reason why I think Xbox isn't working is because Xbox is always available somewhere else. It's either on your phone, it's either on your PC. You don't need the box. That's why that's
with Game Pass. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Game Pass is kind of killing them. And I think Sony will notice that as well when PS Now is actually continuing.
Yeah. It's PlayStation Plus, not PS Now.
Oh yeah, whatever. It's kind of the same on PS Now as the streaming.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same. But PlayStation Plus will. The difference is PlayStation Plus doesn't do new stuff day and date.
Not
where Xbox does.
There's some small titles like Chia and the upcoming Humanity, but not day and date for their own titles and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
So, what do you guys think that Microsoft could do to? I'm not saying that they need to shoot to the top of the charts, but to stay competitive and stay relevant. Because what I'm hearing here is that they're kind of we're not going to go away, but we're never going to be able to compete with Sony or Nintendo.
Yeah, my big issue with this is that because they lost the CMA, not really approval because they can only block, but Felix is kind of defeatist right now because they can't get a big game that will sell their consoles.
Yeah, that's the problem. They need big games.
Yeah.
And there is a few in development. Big names even. We have Fable and we have Perfect Dark coming back. And Avowed. There's big titles in the work. And I think we'll see them this summer at the Games Fest or whatever. I think they will show those off now. I think this is the year. But there's just nothing. There's not a lot to own Xbox for right now.
I mean, the Xbox One thing is when they really messed up with going, your games are going to be locked to your console. Right? That's what they screwed up with at the time because there was a lot of backlash for that. Even Sony made fun of them during their own presentation of the PlayStation 4. And they never kind of recovered from that. And suddenly the Xbox Series X and X came out and they didn't have the big exclusive titles. They didn't have worthwhile exclusive titles just for that console. Combined with the Game Pass thing that you can play games on PC and day and date on Xbox, I think that is definitely what you said earlier, Benjiro, is that is hurting Xbox a lot more than
Marco puts it down in chat very nicely. They need exclusive games that are only available on Xbox and now NPC, and make them not Game Pass day one. That devalues the games, and it absolutely does. It does. I think that's the way that actually Sony is superior, because even the games that Sony brings to PC it's not even day and date. They do that a year later or even longer, and they get like a second hype going, which is good.
Exactly.
And just putting them out there and putting them on Game Pass, I literally paid $10 and I could play Redfall. Redfall was a great game. That would have been great. Now I kind of feel cheated, but I have other stuff I can play on there, so it's kind of fine for a month, and then I'm gonna cancel. Yeah. But I don't feel a loss or a personal connection to a game I bought. And I had the same with Halo. Like, I liked playing Halo, but you probably bought it, Mats, because you're big into Halo. But I played it on Game Pass, and I had fun with it for about 15, 20 hours, and then I moved on and never really thought about it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved Hi-Fi Rush. I think it's a great game. I still intend to buy it on Steam because I really loved it. And I want to support the devs.
Yeah, but now you're going to wait for a sale.
Probably.
Yeah, because you already played it, so you don't have the incentive to buy it full price. Like if you really love the game and you want it on Steam, you might, but there's no incentive to do so. So you're just gonna wait for a sale. Oh, sure, I want to support the devs, so I'm just gonna throw them a tenner. You're not gonna throw them the full. What is it, $29.99?
Yeah.
So that.
And Marco's definitely right about one thing. He says that Game Pass is like a book in the library. It's nice, but you're not going to line up for it. Which is, I wanted to say something about video rentals because I worked in a video rental store, and with theatrical releases. Theatrical releases have a lot more impact because you actually bought into the theater experience,
Which sucks. Specifically when I went to Mario, it absolutely sucked because there were some shitty kids there. But I get the point that the feeder experience, the feeder experience, it can add something to it.
Yeah, I mean, it can suck as well. That's true. But like when I play a game on PlayStation Plus, and because it's free, I have no incentive to buy it. But it's already out. Yeah. It's been out for a while, and I never got around to play it. So I'm gonna try it out. That's what I'm gonna do. But we're also seeing now with streaming services, not just in games, but like all the streaming services, they're hurting, and because a lot of them are going back to theatrical releases first because that's where most of the money is.
And not just that, but they're also kind of stopping the binge watch, the binge watching. So the stuff you see with The Last of Us and so some other shows is that they bring one episode a week, which is fine because it keeps the buzz going. Exactly. People were talking about The Last of Us for 10 weeks instead of talking about it for 3 to 4 days because then everybody binged it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I never tried to binge watch. I mean, I did binge watch some shows in the past, but at some point I was like, but it has no further impact anymore. If you watch so many episodes after one another, you kind of get, it has no impact. Once you've seen a show that has a lot of impact and you get like a week to a couple of days to, process it, it has a lot more impact than when you watch the entire show in one go.
Mm-hmm. I'm still gonna binge some shows in my summer vacation.
Sure.
Though.
Yeah.
Like I waited with Mandalorian and some other things. Last of Us as well. I haven't started that yet either. I'm saving. I am going to like make that my vacation. Right. Cinematic entertainment to enjoy. Just because I am someone who really wants to see the next episode. If there's a cliffhanger or whatever. I mean, that's also the way I watch Game of Thrones. Because I watched the first seasons and then later when I caught up, I had to wait like a week. And
that's fine for
but
me,
I think that's just a personal preference as well. A little bit.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
True. But just like for games, if they're available freely, sort of free, for a very low price, it has less impact.
Yeah, I am totally not into subscription service games. I don't have a Game Pass. I don't have the Humble stuff. Because I feel like it feels icky to me somehow. Okay. Like if I commit to a game, I commit to it and I play it. If I get a whole bunch of games and I could just download them and play them, I have a very short attention span for games already. Right. So if I have a whole library of games in front of me that I can play because I have the subscription, I might play one game for an hour and then, and then my attention goes to another game. I'm like, it doesn't feel right for me personally. So it's of course nice that you can just try out different games that way.
I think Humble Bundle is slightly different because you actually get to own the games, so they're yours. Yeah. I do get that it's still kind of devalues it because you might get 10 games and you will only play one and the others will just end up in a backlog and you don't care about them anymore, or you don't even realize you actually have them. Like you find that game. I actually had that happen to me. So somebody, one of my streaming buddies, was actually playing a game on Twitch. I was like, I'm really gonna enjoy that game. Cool, I'm gonna buy it. And I looked at the store and it said already in your library, and I just never knew. So
Yeah.
It happens. Yeah.
I mean, I have the problem with even like with things like the Epic Store giving away free games like every week or so, or every few weeks. I have my library is growing exponentially, and it's just you never touch them anyway. It's like maybe there's one or two that the games that I would buy at a sale. Oh, nice, I got it now. But it's still even some of those that I had in that like maybe I'll get it on a sale and I got it for free. It feels empty. It feels like there's nothing, no weight to it. Like I didn't pay for it, and it's
right.
I don't know. It feels weird.
I don't know. Having reviewed games for a while, you get past the free games kind of are valueless kind of thing.
True. That's true.
It saved me so much money back in those days.
Oh, definitely. I understand. I totally understand that.
Yeah,
for sure.
But then you kind of have to play them for review value, and you kind of have to write about the game. So it's different because you have an incentive to actually play them.
Yeah. And you kind of work for them anyway. So.
I mean, I can imagine it's great as well as if you're, for example, a full-time streamer, where you are playing games 8 hours a day. That's a great deal, of course.
Yeah.
And most of the biggest streamers, of course, get sponsored, and they'll get the copy anyway. But
exactly, yeah. It doesn't really diminish the experience, but for Game Pass, that sort of stuff is, it's kind of killing.
Yeah.
So
the problem I have with Game Pass, and that's the last I will say about it, is I have the tendency to just scroll through the catalog, and the same goes for PlayStation Plus. I will just scroll through the catalog. I will probably download like 3 or 4 of them, and then I will either never play them because by the time they're done downloading, I'm already invested in something else.
Yeah.
Or I will just play one of them for a few minutes, or I will just never ever play them at all, and I will just scroll forever. Like Marco can attest to that. Like I will just I probably downloaded more games that I never played. When having Game Pass and PlayStation Now than I actually played on there. Usually, when I want to play a game, I still buy it.
I mean, I have that with my own Steam library anyway. Where I'm like, when I'm like, I don't really want to play that game today. Okay, let's see what else do I got, and I'm just scrolling.
Yeah,
I mean,
even when with the backlog that we have, when you're kind of spoiled for choice, it's hard to figure out what do I want to play right now because you're not in the mood for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't really choose at certain points, so you just end up playing the same game you played for a couple of weeks ago, and it's.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't even often like get the new games, like the new hype games.
No.
Like you heard you hear my what have I played every week? I play a lot of old games. Because I enjoy those games sometimes just a lot more than the modern games. So yeah, that's another thing, but that's just a me thing, of course. There's just I in general have a little bit of trouble getting really hyped for new games. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's because I'm older and or maybe I just like recognize, okay, it's this kind of game, this kind of experience. I've seen it before. Something. I think for me personally, I think I'm just waiting for a little bit more innovation. And I see just a lot of repeated things, a lot of samesies games that have the same blueprint, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So, quick fire round. What can Microsoft? What is the first thing Microsoft should do to turn this around? Fush.
I mean, exclusive games.
Batsman?
For the console. I mean, yeah.
I kind of agree. They just need the bangers. I mean, if you look at the Xbox 360 era, which I think is the golden era for Xbox, they had so many exclusives, It was so good. I remember being so hyped for every new game that came out back then. Even the original Xbox, you had the Halo games and you had Crimson Skies. They had a lot of exclusives, even like from Software had Otogi 1 and 2, a series I hope they will eventually return to. Like all these exclusive deals with developers, and there was tons of games to play. Yeah. And I feel it dried out. So yeah, exclusives, big hitters. I think that's the big thing, that they need those Xbox exclusive names back. They have things like Perfect Dark under their hood. Use it. And I hope stuff like that gets revealed and that it is cool and new. Because I know for Perfect Dark, for example, they're trying something different. Like with their story and theme surrounding it. Because the trailer was kind of like the announcement trailer like years ago was kind of like surprising. It's about ecological systems and controlling that in like a modern city environment or something. I don't know. But we haven't heard about any of those games in a long time. Like any of the big studios that they have under their wing right now.
Even the new Forza game, we don't know anything about. We don't know anything about what was the Wildermyth? The thing Rare was apparently not even working on. There are so many games that we don't know anything about. They have the Coalition?
Yeah,
it's the Gears.
The Gears.
But they're working on something new, and we don't know what that is. So there's
Contraband, I think, is one of the games that they're working on. Was it Contraband?
They bought Sumo Digital, if I remember correctly. I'm not really sure what they're doing. So they have a lot of probably. Just make something fun. Make something fun.
They also canceled a couple of projects, right? Like the Dragon game from what's it called again? I forget the title.
Hideki Kamiya's Scalebound.
Scalebound. There were a few titles. There were Scalebound. There were some others where suddenly there was it was canceled. Like,
I wonder if Avowed is actually still in development. I sincerely wonder.
I think it is.
They're going to show it. I think there was a post like on Xbox Wire that said that Avowed was going to be on at the presentation.
Yeah,
it's just another Skyrim though.
There's on the 13th after the initial presentation, 2 days after, I think.
You're disappearing again, Fush. You need to move a little closer. I think you moved back and you were behind your mic, so your camera was blurring you.
Right. Sorry. I will definitely cut that out of the podcast because you can't see me on the podcast. So
Invisivash.
No ugly mug on the podcast.
He vashed it. Never mind.
I'm not going to cut this out of the video podcast, right? So
I'm just making bad jokes, so you know when to cut.
Okay. No, but Avowed. I saw a thing that on the 13th, 2 days after the first presentation, they're going to show more gameplay and go deeper into some other games. I think Avowed was one of them. I'm not really sure if I saw that correctly, but there's definitely going to be more of certain games.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of have to.
Okay. For me, just bring back Blinks. That's all I want. Just bring back Blinks and we'll be fine.
Yeah, but they have more. I don't know. I should look into that. But I also what happened, like a new Crimson Skies, for example.
They have a lot of dormant IP that they could use.
which could be great with a modern engine and
Peggle free. That's EA. I'm sorry.
They could even I don't care if they even sell cosmetics for your planes and stuff. Like, come bring it. Just bring it. Yep. Give us more of that stuff.
To be fair, if Microsoft can't buy Activision, they might buy EA and they get Peggle 3.
Yeah.
We'll finally get a Microsoft Peggle 3.
So we can see someone else jump on the stage.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I found a thing of what I read on the wire. It doesn't really mention Avowed, but I think it's going to be shown anyway on the June 11th presentation. So like last year, we'll also have our follow-up stream, Xbox Games Showcase Extended, airing June 13th at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, with in-depth interviews focused on the news from our Xbox Games Showcase, as well as game updates from our partners. So
that's usually just like extra marketing fodder usually.
Yeah, but
we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We don't know anything. Everything is speculation. We just know that Xbox is kind of down on its luck right now.
Right.
I've never seen Phil this sad, so I did want to bring it up. Unfortunately, we are running kind of long, so I'm going to ask you guys a question.
Are we though?
Yeah, we are. We're already on 1 hour and 25 minutes. So, and that's my recording.
We run longer, so.
Yeah, I know, but doing an entire tier list right now might actually.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So that's my question: is are we still going to do the tier list, or are we going to move that onto another day and we just continue with the news, because a tier list might be a little long in the tooth for.
We haven't really talked about the news, but also talked about some other stuff. But I'm fine with either way. But that's gonna take long.
I'd say news, because you can grab each news thing and see if what the time is after that, right?
Yeah.
And I think a tier list is fun for a main topic.
Yeah.
Let's say.
Yeah. Redfall and yeah, it was supposed to be like a pre-main topic, but it went kind of long. Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. We're moving on. So we're moving on to news, starting with some piracy. Reggie said he has a very specific set of skills, and that is because Tears of the Kingdom leaked. People actually showed it to him, and he quoted Taken. So, yeah.
I can see Reggie being a badass, but he's a big guy. He's very tall and very funny.
Yeah. So how do we? So the game leaked. Obviously, that happened before. Nintendo has.
What happened though?
It's mostly reviewers. I remember back in the day when some Ubisoft stuff leaked. It was a YouTuber that was actually just uploading them.
Man, it's so crazy because Nintendo is like so hard on like any form of like online presence of their games.
Yeah,
it's like, how does this happen? Is this like a specific guy that always manages to get their a review copy, and then
it's weird. It also happened with Pokemon. It got out early. A few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, the strategy guide for Tears of the Kingdom already leaked. So
I saw that. Yeah.
Is people working at distribution centers and publishers, maybe? Probably not publishers, but distribution centers, definitely. Yeah.
Obviously, the console, the special edition console, leaked like 2 months in advance and was actually available on a few black market places.
Yeah.
A YouTuber called Beat 'em Ups actually bought one and then pretended he didn't, which was dumb. But so. The game is out in the wild. People are playing it on their Steam Decks. Apparently, it's stable 30 over there. So hopefully, the Switch is able to do the same. I'm in a few. I actually knew it leaked slightly before general media was starting to cover it, because their pictures were showing up on the Steam Deck pages. So I'm in a couple of Steam Deck groups, and it showed like, look what I'm playing now. And the first one I was like, you're doing a mock-up. This is not real. And then more people started posting them, and it was definitely real. People are playing it on user right now. Please don't pirate these games. Like, it's probably gonna sell very well. People are gonna definitely play it. It's but yeah. Spoilers are everywhere, so if you're willing to play this game, please make sure you stay off social media or you block these terms.
Yeah. And don't be a certain kind of news website and completely cover the game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Based on the leak.
I like what Eurogamer did. They reviewed the game, but they reviewed the trailer, just the trailer, and they gave it a recommended stamp. But it's just the trailer. They didn't do anything. So they kind of did a tongue-in-cheek version of that. But yeah, there are already reviews out. It seems favorable, but yeah, people are playing the illegal copy. Next week, literally a week from now, the game will be out and about, and will be. I will be playing it. I will be doing this podcast.
I definitely hope you can talk about the podcast on the podcast. So when you hope that you get it early on that day.
Yeah, but I have to work first, and then I have to take care of the kids, and then I have to prep the podcast. So I could probably, it will probably be something like
during the podcast.
I have seen the main menu of the game.
Yeah,
Yep.
It is installed. It looks glorious. It will probably be something like that. So yeah, kind of shitty that worked out. Obviously, we don't condone piracy that way. Moving on, because people do get punished for that. Bungie won a lawsuit against cheat sellers.
Yep.
So Destiny 2.
Not really a leak, but it's cheating is bad as well. So.
Yeah. So the Destiny cheat sellers have to pay $12 million following the latest Bungie lawsuit. This is the third lawsuit Bungie actually won against several different cheat creators. And in this case, it's a Romanian cheat seller called Mihai Claudiolu something. I'm not going to try Mihai something. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Who was apparently behind the cheat software called Veteran Cheats. And he was boasting about it, so that's why, we're not into the cheating scene, so that's why we don't know. But he was boasting about it on Reddit, and that's how they kind of figured out that he was the guy to go for. So what happened is Bungie was seeking a little over $11.5 million in damages. And obviously Bungie won, and he also has to pay Bungie's attorney fees, so that leaves him with a nice little check of $12 million.
I hope for him he earned enough money with the cheats to
apparently he did. So they previously Bungie previously also won two similar cases, one for $4.4 million against AIM Junkies and a $13.5 million win against Elite Boss Tech. And they're currently still in legislation with levy cheats, and they're seeking about $7 million there. So they're going hard. The thing you can basically learn from this is don't build cheats for Destiny because you will be broke.
Yeah,
nice.
Did you guys ever encounter cheaters? I know that you're very much into the multiplayer shooter kind of things, Matt. So.
I have encountered cheaters. I've encountered cheaters in Tarkov, but that's not very rare or anything. So, where it was just like a guy, I was just hiding in the bush, and there was a guy just, hey, you there with the M4 with this configuration and that and your inventory. There's a guy over at the building over there. Be careful. And he just walked off. He's just a guy literally walking straight towards me to tell me, oh, there's a guy over there and he has this weapon. And so that's kind of hilarious, but at the same time, it's very sad. But yeah, cheaters sucks. It just ruins games. And I don't get it. It's a sort of high you get from it, I guess. You feel more powerful than your opponent.
Yeah.
And in Tarkov, I can kind of understand when some people do it because not for a good way, but for a bad way, isn't that you can like sell items for real life money and all that stuff. But yeah, it's people who cheat in Counter-Strike
I kind of get that, like Counter-Strike, because you can get the boxes, you just have to buy the keys. You can actually profit from it in real life. I'm not saying I condone it, but I kind of get why some people would resort to cheating.
Yeah, even in my another thing, it's not really a cheater, but in the gameplay I had from Counter-Strike, there were just some bots in there just doing little circles. And the only thing they're there for is being in the game, so the round ends and getting a chance to get one of the crates. It's literally just farming bots, basically. And they wouldn't even be really playing, but they had to be active and moving, so they were just running in circles and getting shot by everyone. So yeah, that stuff, like, there's no game without cheats. There's just literally no way to actually solve that problem. which is kind of sad, but it's that's just the way it is.
It's always like a cat and mouse kind of thing, because
it is.
you know, the cheats are going to get detected. People are going to build new cheats that won't get detected. Then you know, the company becomes aware of those tools, and they'll start remediating those, and that's the way it keeps going.
Yeah. It's a catch. Yeah, it's basically they're catching up and adapting. That's what cheaters do. Cheat manufacturers do. And there's basically no watertight solution for it. There's the kernel solution where they install software on your PC.
That's what Valorant and Riot is doing,
yes,
right?
exactly.
That got a lot of backlash.
Yeah, because people don't want software on the PC because they think they'll steal or look into your files and grab details and, I don't know, want to sell you stuff or something.
I have to be honest, as an IT guy, and as specifically somebody who has who does a lot of security for on the IT front, giving something kernel access on your device is definitely a no-go. I would never ever do that.
Yeah,
like I played a little bit of Valorant, so I kind of condoned it. But when I was done playing it, I completely uninstalled it instantly, because if something hijacks that program, it literally can access everything on your system without.
I think that's the danger, right?
And that's absolutely the danger. So if somebody is able to either get some malicious code in there, it will be able to run in your entire system. And I'm not really happy about that. And because it runs on kernel level, there's not a virus scanner that's going to stop that. Not in time.
Nope.
And that's why most anti-cheat systems avoid the kernel solution.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's I don't know if there ever gonna be if there's any time there's gonna be like a revolution in anti-cheat. I think there has been I did see one thing. There was a new anti-cheat software being developed that literally analyzes your screen, and that can like detect irregular movements from the player. So it literally looks at what's on the screen and the pixels, and it can like detect if someone is locking onto an enemy because it's unnatural movement, right?
Yeah.
And
the swift movements from enemy to enemy.
Yeah, exactly, that sort of stuff. And if it after a certain number of detections, it would like determine, okay, this is a cheater. I've seen one video of it, and I hope that stuff gets worked out, because that would really work, unless there's probably another way around it. Of course, because anti-cheats are always, or cheaters are always trying to work around it. But
I've seen somebody try. I'm not sure if the software ever made it, but it was basically a proof of concept. He made a proof of concept of cheating software that would actually track your eyes. So what would happen is that you would have a webcam on you, and it would track where you are on your screen. Those types of software already exist. You have streamers that actually use it. Especially when they're good at shooters.
Yeah.
But what happens if you start shooting stuff and hitting stuff that you're not actually looking at, then it would be considered a red flag. So if that would happen too often, then that's a way to circumvent aimbot, because you can change stuff on your screen and you can go around software, but you can't go around your actual eye movements.
No.
So I know that that's a proof of concept. Maybe that's something they are willing to implement, but I think it was just on tournament level, because on esports level, because you can't ask regular people to turn on their webcam.
No.
Like everybody is putting stickers on their laptops because they don't want their webcam to work, so they're not going to give software access to that. So that will probably just be for either tournament play or streamers. But that might be an interesting solution, at least for the higher levels of play.
Yeah, I think the screen scanning thing actually was very clever. I don't know how it works, but I think it was something that you cannot interact with from your PC.
Okay.
So I think that was one of the clever parts of it. That in that way you can't like have third-party software detecting the anti-cheat software, because it's not something you can see as a player or detect as a player. So, But yeah, that's just a video I saw. I'm not sure if it was legit or that it was just an early presentation of it. But
there are a lot of cheaters. Also in the speedrunning community, there are a lot of people. Dream, for example, cheated and spliced some Minecraft runs that actually got him world first, and obviously those were faked. Stupid. So there are a lot of people that actually, unfortunately, do that on a lot of different ways. So some of them are aimbots, which is what Bungie is dealing with, but yet there are a lot of cheaters on a lot of different ways. Okay, next up, Bioware has apparently quietly resented its writers. David Gator, who used to work at Bioware, he left the company in 2016, admits that there were, he specifically left amidst Anthem, and apparently, basically, they were starting to gaslight writers and were asking that people would, or at least that the writers would have less to do. They wanted less writing in their games, which is kind of weird for a company that's mostly known for
story,
for story-driven games and are heralded for that because of games like Mass Effect, Dragon Quest, the older Baldur's Gate games, Neverwinter Nights. All of them are very story-heavy and very heavy on a narrative experience. And apparently nowadays they're trying to steer away from that, which is kind of weird because they have Dragon Age Dreadwolf coming. Yeah. So what David,
so what they nothing without lore building.
Exactly. So what David actually said is writing is one of those disciplines which is constantly undervalued. It is something that everyone thinks they can do. I can write a sentence, I know what story is, and frankly the difference between good and bad writing is lost on many anyhow. So why pay so much for it? Because apparently they are resented and actually sent away. So
kind of funny that he's talking about it now because of the writers' strike in the US.
It might be that might be one of the reasons that he's actually bringing this out now. He obviously left the company in 2016, so
maybe he's not now. He's allowed to talk about it after like so many years of NDAs.
Maybe.
But it's, I mean, he's not wrong because I've seen other writers like Rihanna Pratchett talk about it when she worked on several games like Tomb Raider. She was brought in late in the game, very late in the development of the game. And she had to twist and turn into all sorts of story things that didn't really make sense during the game because the game was already set. They weren't going to change anything. And that is, in my opinion, a very bad way to create a story for a game. And so it wouldn't surprise me if that also happened with Mass Effect and Dragon Age at some point.
Yeah. So what he basically said is Bioware slowly turned from a company that vocally valued its writers to one where we were quietly resented, with reliance on expensive narratives seen as the albatross holding the company back. Maybe that sounds like a heavy charge, but it's what I distinctly felt up until I left in 2016. Suddenly, all anyone in charge was asking was, how do we have less writing? A good story would simply happen via a magic wand. It's the Bioware magic thing that Jason Schreier talked about before, that everything just magically comes together when it comes to Bioware in the last couple of months, rather than something something that is needed, supported, and a priority. So apparently they were moving away from that. We're obviously not sure if that's still the case. This is a moment in time that actually happened quite about 7 years ago. So
it does explain a lot. It explains a lot about Andromeda, for example, and Anthem. Yeah,
because Anthem was quite low on story. So I'm hoping that that doesn't bode badly for Dreadwolf. We'll see.
And for the new Mass Effect.
Yeah, there's a new Mass Effect coming. I keep forgetting. That's also one of those big exclusives that we're waiting for.
I actually forgot about
really
that
exclusive.
one.
I think it's an EA game, so.
But it's still it was announced at Microsoft, right?
It's a high profile title. Yeah. But I'm really looking forward to the new Dragon Age as well. But like you said, Benjura, I hope it's not. They haven't pushed it through. I think there was a management shakeup anyway at BioWare, so that might have changed. But
BioWare hasn't been BioWare for years. Ever since the doctors left BioWare.
True.
Back in the day, it's a different company, and it felt like a different company.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure how that goes.
Apprehensive. I get that. Yeah.
I actually forgot about that. That some of the Halo team left Microsoft entirely.
Yeah.
Jason Statham, who is like one of the founders of the Halo franchise, basically, is now working for Netflix, and he's going to work with for Netflix games. So that's
another streaming service.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, but right now with the writer strike, writers in games have been undervalued for decades now, and even from the WGA, the Writers Guild of America themselves, because I've seen some stories from writers that have worked on games. There are currently writers that have worked on shows and for movies that have been saying that they want to switch to game writing because they see it as more stable. But from the people that are currently writing in games, they keep hearing that no, it's not better. And like I said, even the WGA doesn't really see game writers as part of their of their, how do you say that? I can't remember.
Like core team or?
Well,
experience?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
They don't see him as peers. They're
yeah.
They're not peers.
Yeah, I was thinking of a certain word, but I tip of my tongue and whatever. But
except for Alana Pierce, who is now a writer at Santa Monica Studio.
I'm not sure about Alana though. We'll see how that pans out.
I mean,
she worked on Ragnarok, so
yeah, she's a good writer. But the thing is that she's never been like a TV show or movie writer. I think, right?
She was a writer before.
Right.
Yeah, at IGN, right?
Yeah, but also I think she worked on things. I'm not sure.
Could be. I mean, you have to start somewhere.
She used to produce stuff for IGN at least, and I think she also did it for G2. I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah.
They're not equals. Yeah.
Yeah. Marcus says, not equals. That's a I don't think they see them as equals yet.
I doubt.
That's also because the games industry is notoriously seen as a tech industry and not an entertainment or art.
Which is weird because they make way more money than the movie or TV industry.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of weird. But okay. Let's see. I think we have one more thing. Yeah. So Unity is about to to get its third layoff rounds. Unity is a game engine creator. We talked about them last week, that they make these games that are very Unity-esque, have these large polygon blocks, and usually it involves bikes going downhill.
Yes. There are some outliers, but yeah.
Yeah. So they are going to fire about 600 people, and that is about 8% of their total workforce. They are also downsizing from 58 global network offices to fewer than 30. So they're going to shed 28 locations.
Yeah, their growth has always been weird. They never made a profit. Even now, they're not making a profit. Every profit they talked about, they were making profit, but that's just like smoke and mirrors. From the people that I talked with them about it, there was something about GAAP. I'm not really sure what it stands for, but cursory glance was.
I'm not sure if they're allowed to make a profit.
Unity? Yeah, they are. They're a company.
Yes, but their engine is free.
True, but
what do they make their money on?
To a certain point. They do make money on their engine though, because like Unreal, after you make so much money on a game, you have to.
Yeah,
pay
you have to give
Unity
them a
games.
cut. But
So you do kind of pay them.
the problem with Unity games is that they're usually not the biggest sellers.
Unless you're Escape from Tarkov, but that's a rare thing.
Yeah,
is that a Unity game?
But
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, the Unity engine is pretty good. Especially it's been especially good for indie games and mobile games. So it's a strong engine.
It's an easy to learn engine. That's why so many indie developers use it. But yes, you can create something like Escape from Tarkov if you really dive into it, because the engine can do things like that.
Yeah.
It's just used by a lot of indie devs because it's very easy to get into, very easy to learn, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cuphead is a Unity game. Subnautica is a Unity game. City Skylines is a Unity game.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
there are a few more than I thought.
Yeah. Hearthstone is a Unity game. Fall Guys is a Unity game. So there are Beat Saber is a Unity game. So yeah, it's a very widely used engine.
Yeah.
It's not as strong as Unreal because they're still trying to catch up. But the problem is with Unity is they want to do a lot of things at the same time, and they want to look for the quick and easy bugs. But that's not really a surprise considering their current CEO is John Ricciello. And if you've been in the game industry long enough, that was the former head of EA when it went downhill.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because they're currently looking into NFTs. They're going hard on AI stuff, and not a fan.
Man, there've been a lot of headlines popping up today about AI stuff. That's a whole different discussion, of course. But of course, it also affects writing. So, man, and I've seen some very scary things, even in like very big companies. So I hope that won't. Maybe I don't know if that has to do anything to do with this. But there's also talking about AI writing code and stuff. So
yeah, I mean, IBM is going to stop hiring people.
Yeah, I saw you posted that news thing. Yeah. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, I might be on the other side of this. Like, I agree that AI is not great, but I do use it to write my scripts. I tell it to write to write my scripts, and it does an okay job. And then I just modify it to what I need. Obviously, it still requires my a personal touch. But I do use it as a tool.
Yeah, I mean, we say AI, but it's not AI.
No, it's
an algorithm.
It's an algorithm that
it basically crawls the web and
already knows. Yeah.
I mean,
but it's kind of okay at writing a few PowerShell scripts that I use at work, and all I have to do is just modify them. That's it.
I did see a meme from a developer who says, was it like programming my engine myself? Was it 20 days? I'm just saying so, like an example. Programming using AI 1 day. Debugging by building something myself 5 hours. Debugging using the AI 24 hours. Like, because you have to check everything it does still, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's quite okay. Yeah. And if if you build something yourself from scratch, you know the code in and out. So
which is it's also very hard from software programmers I know is that they sometimes complain that they have to work with someone else's code, and that's the same thing because the AI code is its own thing, and when you work with someone else's code, it's always more difficult to do fixes and find bugs and that sort of stuff. It's very useless.
AI is good to have, like Bedjiro would use it, just like an extra tool to make certain things faster and easier. But there's just things that they're gonna cause problems later on, especially if you're a coder, for example, and you start to get used to AI doing things for you. I think it's gonna diminish on the talents and expertise.
Yeah, because you unlearn a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because you're expecting things to be done for you, and that's gonna that's gonna have a ripple effect into games development as a whole, basically.
Oh yeah.
Eventually, everything will be the same.
Yeah.
That if you let an AI handle it, every implementation of something will be the same.
Yeah.
And
because it will pick one answer, and there won't be any creativity to it because that will be textbook.
Yeah. And what Marco also says is a tool is fine, but an AI can never really embody what a person could because there's no soul involved.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that the same goes for writing. There's no soul. It's dead. I've seen some stuff written by AI, and like they're like people that made AI comics and try to publish them, and they get nowhere because it's dead.
Yeah.
There's nothing involved there. There's no thought behind it.
Yeah, like also like if you're gonna write an emotional story or even like a horror story that's about trauma, AI doesn't have trauma. It can't base things on experiences.
It can't grasp it.
Like personal experiences.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've said it before, but AI is a misnomer. I hate it in this context. Basically, it's there's no intelligence involved.
No.
Okay,
but yeah.
One final thing, and then I think we're done. Is now I lost it. Oh, Midnight Suns. You finished it, Vash. You enjoyed that game, so it got its final DLC this week, and they also announced that they canceled the Switch version, probably due to it not getting it to run on the Switch at all. So it's not coming to Switch anymore. I'm kind of expecting that some other games that are currently still in limbo for the Switch will have the exact same fate.
Yeah. That's kind of what happens when, it's like Nintendo is always like very innovative in their platforms, but they're always behind in hardware. Also because the innovation, like having a portable console, is very hard to make. Like to make very high in specs, because it has to be portable and affordable as well.
Yeah, I think that's where Nintendo is mostly coming from. They want to make stuff as affordable as possible.
Yeah, they want to bring it to as many family homes as possible. But that's always going to be a bottleneck where game developers who build new games, Nintendo is never going to be their first platform. If it's a multi-platform title, of course. It's going to be like, okay, we're going to also try to port it to Nintendo.
It works on Steam Deck, but my Steam Deck is literally screaming at me when I play it.
Yeah.
It gets extremely, extremely hot.
Yeah.
Okay. With that being said, I think we're done for this week. It became a very news-heavy episode. I was kind of hoping for something different, but it is what it is. So we're probably going
news every week.
Yeah,
it's booming a little bit,
which is weird. Well, after E3, the summer games stuff and the showcases, and we're gonna go into like some kind of summer hiatus. So we're gonna be fine. Hiatus.
A break.
So by then we can do some of the quirky, weird stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll throw something in next week.
We'll see.
Oh yeah, I have an idea for something. So I want to do one of the stuff I mentioned in the doc earlier. So. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I have a game we can play. Like it's kind of a pen and paper game. I'm gonna see if I can make it work in Board Simulator for the final for this season. We're gonna end this season probably somewhere at half of July, and then we're gonna come back at the end of August. I'll be on a holiday, so we probably won't be recording. So I think we're just gonna be off for about a month, something like that. Okay. But I have a fun idea for the final episode. I'll run it past you guys.
All right.
It's gonna be like a Smash Brothers thing, and we're gonna have to just we're gonna discuss, and we're gonna have somebody be the judge who actually wins. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's still over 2 months away. Yeah, that's just I know, and
we're time to work on it.
Exactly. Okay, guys. So, Metsman, where can they find you?
You can find me mostly on Twitter as usual. It's below my name here, @themetsman. Yes, I'm always active on there. I announce my Twitch streams if I do them, and I'll always dive into game discussions and whatnot. So you can find me there.
And just to be clear, it's Metsman with a Z.
Yeah, METZMAN. Yeah.
Yes. Mets,
that.
the Mets, man.
I am not a part of the Mets
No.
football team. Is it football? It's a football team, right?
No.
Baseball.
Baseball,
baseball,
right?
yeah.
Baseball. See,
Yeah.
I should like remember that.
I mean, you have the New York Yankees and the New York Mets.
We're
Yeah.
nerds and we're talking about sports. Something is wrong. Okay, so
Look, I like baseball, so
I'm not a sports guy at all. Okay. Yeah. So
Bush,
with the men,
yes,
yeah.
Yeah.
people
there
can check you out there and check out his streams. They're entertaining. They're fun. Just I don't know. Steer
up
clear when
tomorrow,
it's Quake. You
probably,
might get queasy.
Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna drop Quake from streams.
So Vash, how about you?
Well, my Twitter handle is PVBAIKUN, and I don't stream, so that's the only place where you can find me right now.
Sometimes he pops up in mine.
Yeah, that I do.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And I'm Benjero. You can find me at Pixels Sprites on Twitch, and you can find me right here on this channel. Actually, this is Twitch, and the other one's Twitter. I kind of screwed that one up. But you can find me on Twitch on Pixels and Sprites. So we'll probably be live at least 2 times this week. On Thursday, Mark and I will be doing a tier list, and I'll probably play a game one other day. I'm not gonna say which day. Just keep an eye on Twitter. You guys will figure it out. So thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll be back next week with episode 17.
Yes.
All right.
See you guys later.
Later.
Bye.